for inviting me here. And I'm going to talk about level design. Actually, I'm going to try to convey everything you need to know about level design in about 20 times 15 seconds. And that everything, if I hope this time is right, because I didn't practice, 15 seconds longer than I thought, everything actually boils down to this very simple thing. If you're working with levels, the only thing you're working with is locks and keys. So it's not one thing, it's two things. And these locks and keys, you're building levels, the only thing you're doing is building locks and keys in one guise or another. And that's really everything about. That's everything you need to know about level design. Which gives me about 18 slides, or 18 times 15 seconds, to tell you about why this is so. Because I'm a PhD student, I'm very serious about what I'm doing. And even though it sounds so simple like this, it's really important. But if you're a designer and you're building a level, this is a hard task. Building levels is a very level is a big thing. You need to have a map, you have to have a story, you have to script. The player can do all these things and screw up your level. So you need tools to do this job. And the tools we have currently are level editors and scripts. And these tools are not very advanced. They're on a computer, but they're not really power tools. And part of my research is actually aiming to give designers, level designers, but also game designers, better tools to do their jobs. And locks and keys are basically one of those tools. The thing is, if you're doing research like I'm doing, abstraction is a very important tool in the end to do your level stuff. So with abstraction I mean, if you have a level, there's different models you can make of that level, and you do this, create these models to build your level. And one of these models that I found very useful, and that a lot of people in the game industry find very useful, is what I call a mission. A mission is basically a list of tasks, things you need to do to accomplish your level, to get from the start to the treasure at the end. And another model is, but it's a different view on the same thing, it's a different view on the level as well, is a model like space. Here you have a construction of rooms, and it's a different model. And one of the hardest things of designing a level is actually how you can map your mission, this list of tasks, this shopping list, the things that you want the player to do, to a space that in a way that makes sense and is interesting and has all these things like interactivity or non-linearity and has multiple endings, all these sort of things. Well, this is my secret recipe for doing that sort of thing. It's an easy recipe. You start with a mission, you take some tasks, and you want to say, well, I want to open doors and find the treasure there and save a princess there, and you put them all in order, and then the crucial thing is that you add locks and keys to this list of tasks. Because locks and keys, as tasks go, are a very wonderful thing. Because they allow you to do something, and that's it. Do this. They allow you to make your linear task list, make it non-linear, because you can now move these locks around. If you have put in a key somewhere, you can move the lock around, and the next thing is actually you shake, you map this new structure you have, you map it to space, and then eventually you're gonna put some extras there, you're gonna put monsters in, you're gonna put treasure in, you're gonna put all these things, and you're gonna put as much window dressing as you like. Well, the monsters are gonna be here soon, there's the monsters, there's even a boss monster there. And that's all there is to it. But the crucial thing is that if you want to map a list of linear missions to a non-linear space, you need locks and keys to make that possible. There's some advanced techniques. They're not very advanced at all, but there are some advanced. You can have two keys for the same lock, which gives you the player the option that you have two parallel things you can do. You can choose your own, basically, whether you're going to find the first key or the upper key first, or the lower key first. You can have two locks with the same key, which is a little bit more tricky, because this means that they probably need to go to one similar ending. If you can use the key only once, then you might have two parallel branches. But, and this is what you end up doing as a level designer all the time. The really advanced technique is that you hide the keys. So you don't you make them keys, but you make them look like bombs, and you cracks in the walls as locks. And then all these Zelda games are very good at this sort of thing, to hide all these keys. And the final thing that you need to know is that if you're going to use locks and keys, you should make sure that the player encounters the lock first and then the key. Because if you encounter the lock first, then he might not recognize it, and when he finds the key, then he's, that was a lock, so I can go through that space, and it makes him feel very powerful and intense. well, that's in 5 minutes all there is to it. If you want to find out a little bit more, check out my website and discuss that a little bit more in detail.